Through all of humanity, people have wanted to become the best. We've seen conquerors such as Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, and Alexander the Great, all trying to create the world's greatest empire. We've had athletes like Michael Jordan, Usain Bolt, and Wayne Gretzky, all trying to push their human body to its limits. People all over the world and all through history have tried to become the very best. And today, I want to throw my hat in the ring as well. Small problem, I'm not good at life. I'm not the most athletic, my brain is about the size of a grape, and my voice sounds like a dolphin suffocating. What I lack in physical and mental prowess, I make up for in luck and determination. And I was determined to become the greatest at something. So, what would my target be? Tomodachi Life is a game where you create a bunch of little guys and watch their lives unfold, occasionally interfering and deleting Jared off the island when your crush starts developing feelings for him instead of you. It wasn't enough for you to do it in real life, you just had to do it in my escapist reality, you son of a... Anyway, I was browsing the Reddit one afternoon, procrastinating working out, like you do, and saw that a literal Oreo was able to get the world record for Tomodachi Life's marriage speedrun. Now, up to this point, I'd glanced at Tomodachi Life's speedrun.com page, but had never seen a marriage percent. And so I did some investigating, and after much tribulation I noticed an arrow. There are 8 categories in the Tomodachi Life speedrun. If I want to become the best at this game, I think it's only fitting that I try to get the world record on over half of them, meaning I would need to get the world record on 5 of the 8 runs. It wouldn't be easy, but I was determined. If I couldn't become the best at a game I've loved since childhood, and has less than 20 competitors, I'd be doomed to mediocrity forever. And so I got to work. Not on the actual speedrun though. No, I needed a setup. My Mac can't run Citra, so I'd have to use my physical 3DS. And since many of these runs require rebooting the system, my capture card app would be worthless. So I found an old iPad stand, a plastic phone holder, and a book to balance it all on, and I was ready to start speedrunning. But before I jump into that, I would like to direct you to the sponsor of today's video, me. I'm GeoSage, and I've made it a personal goal of mine to harness my suffering in video games and turn it into a profit. But to do so, I need another 900 subscribers. So if you want to see me continue to go insane, see me break video games, or otherwise support a small insect trying to make a living, please like the video so a ton of people can see it, and subscribe. Anyway, back to Internet Funny Bugs Funny Challenge. Let's go over the categories real quick. As of writing this, Speedrun.com recognizes 8 speedruns as official runs, them being 100 Me's, Marriage Percent, Any Percent, All Buildings, Tomodachi Quest, Super All-Time Favorite Food, Level 10 Me, and Me Sent to Space. If I manage to have the world record in more than half of them, then I think that's grounds to call myself the best Tomodachi Life player to ever live. So let's jump in. First things first, I want to talk about Super All-Time Favorite. Basically, the goal of this run is to feed me their favorite food as fast as possible. The problem? Well, there are 231 foods in the game, 4 of which are excluded from this list. So with each food you give me, there is a 1 in 227 chance of that being the lucky dish, 0.5% higher than my chances of getting a girlfriend. The current world record reaches this in 6 minutes and 35 seconds. The first 3 minutes and 20-ish seconds of the game are tutorial, where nothing can really change. As far as I know, even the food you give your starter me at the beginning is forced into a loved item, and doesn't count towards the super all-time favorite. The current strategy creates 5 Miis, 2 required from the tutorial and 3 additional ones. Each Mii can eat 4 food items before being full, giving 19 tries per run to get the all-time favorite food, or a little over an 8% chance per run. However, what if we didn't make additional Miis? Well, with 2 Miis, giving 7 tries, we get a 3% chance with each attempt. I can bump that up to a 4.7 chance if I make a third Mii, though that's where things get difficult. The strategy I settle on goes like this. During the intro, buy 3 salads and sodas. Do the rest of the stuff needed, burning one of those food items. Then, once the game opens up, quickly purchase 3 bread and 3 grapefruit, which are available in the stock. Then go to Mii 2 and feed them all 4 food items. This is to maximize the chance of a lucky run, as if I get the luck in one of these first 4 foods, it's a major time save. If not, I move on to my first Mii. They get 3 foods and usually level up, losing several seconds. But if I'm on pace, I have just enough time to create a third Mii and feed them all 4 foods before reaching the 6 minute and 35 second mark. Any time after that is irrelevant to me since I'm going for gold here. If none of the Miis pop into space, then it's time to reset. Attempting the same grindy run over and over again is about as fun as Bravely Default without Braves or defaults. So while I ground out those runs periodically, I decide to set my sights on the next category. I decide to attempt a 100 Miis run and, well, it's about as bad as the time I mistook hot sauce for ketchup and poured it all over my hot dog. It's 40 plus minutes of spamming buttons, and my undiagnosed ADHD demands that I make many of the Miis different in some small way. After my first attempt, going all out, I got a time of 47 minutes and 21 seconds, putting me at spot 15 on the leaderboards. If I wanted to get first place, I'd have to somehow cut out over 14 minutes of time, something I didn't think I could manage. I decided to give up on that category, leaving 7 more options. Well, my next goal was beating the marriage percent record. Itty Oreo, the world record holder at the time, had brought the time down to 28 minutes, and I was confident I could beat that. My second attempt got it down to under the 20-minute mark, but before I could submit it, something changed. A new runner named Cosmote101 crushed both the old world record and my new time, bringing it down to 12 minutes. This motivated me to hit the grind, and I brought the world record time down to under 11 minutes, and I didn't stop there. Any percent is basically the same run with extra steps. You just need to carry the momentum of the married couple and convince them to create a child. The world record was 34 minutes, and Casanova seemed to think that it was perfectly lucky. But knowing you could get marriage percent done in under 12 minutes, I knew this time could be beaten. I managed to bring the time down to 23 minutes, and was confident I could get it lower. That brought my score to 2 world records achieved and 1 failed, with 5 more to go. Things were looking up. With that, I went to sleep for the day, confident that I could indeed become the greatest Tomodachi Life player of all time. July 5th, 2024, the Tomodachi Life speedruns were shaken forever. A fancy Animal Crossing speedrunner, Fro Buddy Harry, threw his hat into the ring. He managed to get the marriage percent run to 8 minutes and 31 seconds, the any percent to 16 minutes 46 seconds, and building percent to 1 hour and 11 minutes, which actually wasn't the world record, but still. Those first 2 times were insane to me. And as I watched the runs, something occurred to me. This guy wasn't bad, but while his run was lucky, there were several points where he made simple mistakes. But his time was so good. It just seemed like his game was faster than mine. And so I did some science, and what I found shocked me. For me, an average load, from pressing the home menu, time traveling, and getting back to the point where I can play the game, if done perfectly, takes over 50 seconds. But when timing FroBuddy, His time was approximately 17 seconds, over a 30-second head start with each load. Even if we both got perfectly lucky, with only needing 3 reloads for all 3 heart events required for any percent, Fro would have nearly a 100-second head start on me. I was crushed. My motivation melted away like a witch in a flash flood. How could I compete against someone with that much of an advantage? Would I be consigned to competing exclusively in the 3DS section, ignoring all the emulator runners with their fast loading times? But half the categories would then be free wins with no competition. Yet, could I truly fight against such a force, such an advantage? Was there any way to level the playing field? Well, I decided upon an imperfect solution. When I did a run, I would record my time as usual and submit it to speedrun.com, where Daniel YT would verify them. But I'd also upload a comparison cut, where I chop my loading times down to 20 seconds, or to otherwise match the quickest time I'm competing against. That way I could compare my times to the world record fairly, while still being able to submit my true time runs to the website. With this renewed fire, I got back into the fight. I uploaded a building percent run, and while my time was officially 1.25 hours, the comparison cut was much closer to a single hour, bringing my time to first place. I also pushed through on my super all-time favorite food percent, and while it took me 40 attempts to get it, many above the estimated average, I can't complain as I got very lucky with the successful run, getting the space food in under 4 minutes, a nearly impossible time to beat.
Tomodachi Quest
Was my next trial. I decided to do it for a while, and my best time got down to 1 minute and 6 seconds, putting me at 7th place. I could probably grind until I got super lucky with this one, but decided to move on. 2 failed runs with Tomodachi Quest and 100 Mies. 2 successful runs with superfood and all buildings, half and half, and I was ready to go to space. The Meta Space run only has a single run as riding this, and in the current format is essentially a 100 Mies speedrun, then time traveling to get the daily donations. But for me, who's terrible at 100 Mies, and with more than double the loading time of Crazy Calv, this wouldn't be an option. But I did have another idea. What if I rushed leveling up a Mii, getting gold and silver coins from them to fund the space trip? I did a run of it and finished the run in 1 hour and 45 minutes. Not a terrible time, but far slower than the current world record. I decided to put a hold on that one, focusing on the last 3 runs. Marriage percent and any percent, the 2 runs I'd lost, and level 10%, a run I hadn't yet attempted. If I wanted to get more than half of the categories, as was my original goal, I needed to beat the record in all 3. It was time to grind them out, and grind I did. For hours. I started with marriage percent, transitioning into any percent if the run made it that far. Hours of trying, over and over again, and I got a few good runs. If you decide to give this run a try, I'll share some advice. First, always set the second Mii to spouse. Then, put their personalities to the far right slider. I'm not sure if that actually changes things statistically, but I'm superstitious. You will typically want to talk to your Mii one extra time before starting the time travel, because if you don't activate the daily donations quest, your main Mii won't be able to get any others, including falling in love. However, if you wanted to min-max, you could theoretically skip this step to save about 10 seconds in exchange for needing much better RNG. For most of my runs, I didn't do this, though I got one solid marriage percent run with this skip. The result of my efforts, I was able to get the marriage percent time down to just over 9 minutes, or if I'm using the 20-second loading time, a 7 minute and 58 second time, which would give me the world record. The any percent run took a bit longer. I grinded runs for hours, diving deep into researching compatible personalities, only to later learn from someone who'd read the game's code that it was a myth. Yet despite my demoralization, I kept running and running and running. Like a bridge runner of Roshar, I kept going, until at last, fortune smiled upon me. How good was my final run? I managed to get the official time down to 18 minutes and 18 seconds. And that was my luckiest run. Let's go over all this again real fast. Each any percent run has a requirement of 5 time jumps. That's the bare minimum. 1 from start to Sweethearts, 1 from Sweethearts to marriage, 1 from marriage to asking for a baby, 1 from asking for a child to the youngling's birth, and 1 from birth to adulthood. In between these runs, there are 3 points of RNG, with the first 3 hard events. Luckily, once they ask for a baby, you can guarantee the rest by jumping ahead in time by a month, something I don't think Frobuddy realized based on the latter half of their run. Anyway, my run took 7 time jumps, meaning that even after resetting for many hours, I still didn't get the best possible RNG possible. So if someone wants to grind for hours, they could eventually get a better time than me. But that's all a tangent. Let's get back to the real question. What was my time after I retimed it to better match up against Frobuddy? It came out to 14 minutes and 42 seconds, more than 2 minutes faster than Fro. I had successfully reclaimed my throne. The score is 4 successes and 3 failures. There is only one challenge left, the run that will determine if I manage to reach my goal of getting over half the speedrunning world records. It's time for the level 10 run. The world record is at 10 minutes and 58 seconds, a very impressive time. This run is both incredibly RNG reliant and also needs focus and skill. First, a run needs to get 5 problems solved, meaning that we need 3 me's. The first 2 problems are guaranteed in the tutorial, but the last 3 can all end the run. First, if a me spawns in with no quest, it's Jover. And if a me has a friendship quest, that can be some major time loss. And unless it's on your first me, it's usually grounds to reset. Additionally, sometimes they'll have problems involving needing money, which you can't afford to solve. And if they have a food-based quest, and you give them a food they don't like, then it doesn't count towards the counter. Basically, after running the 4-minute tutorial, there is a chunga-sized chance that the run dies. And after that gate, you need your me to love 3 different clothing options. The current strategy is to use this personality and set your month to spring with the male me. This gives you access to these 3 clothing options, all of which supposedly have boosted odds of being loved by this personality. If one of them is just really liked, you can work with it, but if 2 of them aren't loved, then the run is dead once again. And the worst part, unlike a lot of other runs where I've been able to mostly zone out and watch a Johnny Awesome video while running, this one requires your constant attention, menuing quickly, taking gambles, and more. And at this point, I'd been running Tomodachi Life runs for over a month. This goal was eating up my life like the hungry gremlin living inside my closet, and the burnout was starting to get to me. 12 minutes and 51 seconds. That was the best time I managed to get in the level 10 me category. 3rd place, 43 seconds behind the 3DS world record, and even further from Crazy Calv's sub 11 run. A part of me wanted to keep going, to push myself until I broke. But after playing the tutorial hundreds of times, killing nearly 1,000 me's, and seeing runs die to stupid me's not liking a particular polka-dotted shirt, I was done. And so my goal to become the greatest Tomodachi Life player was over. There is one thing that I haven't told you. While it's true that the Tomodachi Life page only had 8 categories, 2 more have been added since I started running, both at my request. The melt percent run is similar to the super all-time favorite run, but you're aiming to get Yumi's least favorite food and have them melt. I'd already gotten a really good run of that while grinding out super favorites with a sub 4 minute run. They also added a level 99 Mii run, essentially an extension on the level 10 Mii speedrun. My first and only attempt was very lucky, reaching 2 hours and 6 minutes. While there is certainly room for improvement, the sheer length of this run, along with its recent creation, has kept me in first place for now. And so I'd done it. With a total of 6 out of 10 world records being held by me, GeoSage, I had accomplished my ultimate goal of becoming the world's greatest Tomodachi Life player. Well, debatably at least. Frobuddy still has faster times on the website due to their faster load times, and Crazy Calv holds the record for both Space Me, Level 10 Me, and most importantly, the 100 Me category, which is the most popular speedrunning category. So while an argument could be made for one of them being the true greatest Tomodachi Life player, I feel confident in saying I'm at least top 3, if not the very best. Then again, the art of speedrunning is as fickle as a pickle, and if everyone who saw this video decided they wanted to start speedrunning Tomodachi Life too, then things could change very quickly. But that's all I have for you today. I'm GeoSage, you've been watching Tomodachi Channel, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.